What is going on, guys?
Yeah, that's how we do it. Alright, so, welcome again to the second podcast episode!
The Essential Podcast.
Also known as the Essential Podcast.
That's right.
Before we begin really talking, I do have to bring up something that me and Noah have been talking about a lot by seeing each other. And that is the most important thing right now, which is our channel has reached...
That's right.
over 25...
Over 25 subscribers.
Over 25 subscribers! Which was our goal from last week.
And you know what that means.
And
if you watch the video.
If you watched the full video, you realized that I made a deal with everyone that I would do the highest rated challenge comment if it was 1 possible and 2 not illegal.
Right.
Now, of course, there was one small issue, and that was about 6 days after we made the video, and we were like basically getting to 25 subscribers. Nobody commented.
Nobody commented
challenge. So I was like, damn. So, but we did get one comment, and it was from our boy, Justonian Reigns.
Yep.
That basically
another essential.
Yep, because he's an essential man. Basically was the ice bath challenge. So, I don't know when we're going to have that down.
Or how.
I have kind of an idea of how, but expect a video, if not next week, then the week after. So within the next 2 weeks, I will have fulfilled my promise.
Okay.
All right. So we talked about that. First off, before we start the video, there are unincluding Noah. I think our channel is at 28 subscribers right now. Not including Noah, we have 27 people that are just pure. Hi, Brenda. That have full out just watched our videos. And what I would like to say is just thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. By the way, this is my girlfriend.
That's
she's just gonna be chilling
she's
back
the
there.
First non-essential guest.
Right.
Anyway, just thank you guys so much for coming in and supporting us. I know we don't have the greatest content, but we're gonna try to give you as good content as we make.
The best content that Trey and I can give you. Okay, so all right. So I'm gonna put this out here, Trey. You had no idea this was coming. I had no idea this was coming. But if we can get past 60 subscribers,
the big 60.
60.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'm at 67 right now on my original channel.
I think that's where you're at.
Okay, so if I'm at 67 and we can get past 60, I will do a challenge.
This is a big boy time now.
I will do a challenge, and you guys will have to put the challenges in the comments below.
Yes. Like, I really don't want to have an upset where we didn't get any challenge comments in, like, the first couple days. Okay, first off, we gotta give them a time period. What's the time period?
Time period?
Yep. Like, 60 subscribers. That's like over 30 subscribers that we're shooting for.
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
I can believe that. So, by the video comes out, I think I'm going to upload this on Saturday. That means 2 weeks from Saturday, which I believe is... Don't die. I believe it's...
Thank you. I have sanitizer, so...
Oh my god. Corona.
I'm taking the precautions, man. I don't want to get nobody sick.
Anyway, I believe that's May 23rd. By May 23rd, unless...
If we can reach 60 subscribers.
Reach 60 subscribers, my boy, Noah Carlisle, will do any challenge that is not illegal or impossible.
Right.
Yep. All right. So, as for liking and commenting, now let's get to the discussion, baby.
We're getting to discussions today.
All right. So, a first easy question that everyone needs to talk about is our origin story. The origin
story.
Now, we're not going to talk about, how we made the channel. In fact, we're going to go further than that. No,
even further beyond.
Even further beyond.
Is to go even further beyond.
That's right.
All right, Noah.
What's
Go
up?
back approximately 8 months ago. I think that's what the timeline would have been. Go approximately back. Put your mind back in time. 8 months ago, back for the
Okay,
past,
I'm there.
and then come back to the future.
I'm there.
Now, you should be starting off as a young, strapping young lad. Tops Friendly Markets.
Very new.
A place you didn't realize would soon become a hellhole.
I was gonna say the happiest place on earth, but
Of course, it's
same
happy.
thing.
Yeah. Just, it's like Polar Disney World.
100%.
But you're starting off as a strapping young lad, walking through the, you're walking through the precocious aisles filled with so many items. Going through the U-scan, getting ready to set up at your register, when suddenly you see a 5'6" boy with maybe glasses on.
And a little bit of facial
A
hair.
little bit of facial hair. I probably didn't shave.
Nope, you didn't.
Probably. All right. What was your thoughts? What was your thoughts on this baby boy right there in front of you?
Okay, so I remember Mario talking about Trey. Trey is a cool dude, and all of a sudden, like I was like, I don't know who Trey is. I've never seen him before a day in my life. And then we worked together the one day, and I was like, I look at his name tag. I was like, oh yeah, that's Trey. He seems like a cool dude. He seems fun. And you bagged for me. You started bagging for me, and I was like, okay. And then we started talking, and then I don't know what else happened. It just
No, I got you. I know. I remember. It was deep. I have a horrible memory, so I do not remember as key of details of you, but I can at least tell you the first connection we made. And it was very simple.
Our lanyards.
Our lanyards. So
I don't have mine with me.
So I don't have mine with me either. It's downstairs.
Dang it.
I'll put a picture right here. All right, there we go.
Right there.
Right there. And I remember 2 months prior to this, I went to Spencer's, family-friendly store, and I went there and I saw this awesome Dragon Ball lanyard, and I locked my keys in my car before, so I was like, you know what, lanyards might prevent that. The locking. That's another story for another day. We'll talk about that later. Leave a comment if you want to hear it. But anyway, I got 2 lanyards. I got Power Rangers lanyard and a Dragon Ball lanyard because those 2 shows are very important to me to where I am today. And then, the fateful day came where I come into Tops Friendly Markets, and I'm just walking around, getting ready on my register, and I see this strapping young lad, about 6 foot in length, standing right beside me, and his keys lanyard are outside his pockets, just dangling, and I see it, and I look at it for a second, and I was like, how does Noah Carlisle have my keys? I then checked my pockets immediately, and that's the moment I realized we had the same lanyard. And that can only mean one thing. We both like Dragon Ball.
There we go.
And that's the
mic drop. Pretty much. The rest is history.
The rest is history. Jesus. But anyway, yeah. For anyone that was interested, yeah, all 2 of you that were interested, that's including me, that were interested in hearing the origin story. That's really how me and Noah got together. If it really wasn't for Noah just being friends with Mario and Mario introducing him to Tops, we would not have ever met.
Not at all.
This channel would never have happened.
Probably our whole friend group probably would have never happened.
Whole friend group,
I'm gonna be honest.
you know, the boys.
The boys.
The boys would never have happened. But I am very happy, and I would not see me doing anything else. I cannot picture another future without you guys now. So, that being said, to go... Oh, shut the fuck up. That being said, we now have to talk about how we connected, and that is through... I know some of you guys, I think over like 80% of our viewers, that's just a number I pulled out, but most of you guys don't either know what anime is or don't want to hear about
don't care.
Or don't care. That's the third group. But I know there's some people watching that like Dragon Ball. So, the reason we connected was on a very, very famous anime. Some of you, even that are like totally hate anime, have still probably watched this show, simply called Dragon Ball. Most of you probably know it as simply Dragon Ball Z. So Noah,
right.
I think we can go into an easy one where I just ask a simple question. How did you get introduced to Dragon Ball Z?
To Dragon Ball... Okay, so I got introduced... Yeah. Right, no, yeah. So I got introduced to Dragon Ball by my cousin. My cousin, I was probably 12... no, maybe like 13 or 14, actually. And he said, dude, you gotta check this thing out, like this show out. I love this show's awesome. And I said, well, what show? He was like, it's called Dragon Ball. And I was like, I think I've heard of it before. He's like, yeah, my dad just got mad and he just goes, I think I'm gonna go Super Saiyan. And I was like, what? And he was like, that's what I thought too. And then I started watching it and I couldn't stop. So I was like, okay, before I didn't really get anime. I thought it was weird too. I didn't like it. The only anime that I watched was Pokemon, and that's kind of like the only thing that anybody that doesn't really know anything about anime watches. But I got introduced to Dragon Ball by him. I watched Dragon Ball on YouTube before it was all the copyright strike thing happened, and like everything was on YouTube. So I watched episode by episode, and I ended up getting halfway through. I got to the Cell arc of Dragon Ball Z before the copyright strike happened, and everything got wiped from YouTube. Everything. And so I was kind of just stranded in Dragon Ball. And then my stepmom's brother actually is a huge Dragon Ball fan, and he ended up burning a couple Dragon Ball discs for me, and I ended up finishing off Dragon Ball from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess I'll answer the same question. It was a lot simpler to me. Yours was you've met someone that watched it. The way I found it was there was a channel that's still out today that was off of Nickelodeon called Nicktoons. And this would have been probably when I was in 4th or 5th grade, so Little Baby Trey. And Little Baby Trey was just one time watching a commercial and was brought up to this new show coming up on Nicktoons called Dragon Ball Z Kai. And
was it Nicktoons? It was a Cartoon Network.
It was Nicktoons. Dragon Ball was on Cartoon Network, but Kai was coming out on Nicktoons at the point.
Oh, okay.
So, Trey was originally not interested. He was like, oh, this looks fun. Okay. But he was not interested in watching it. Until one day, there was like nothing else to watch. It was like Disney Channel had Hannah Montana. It was an episode I already saw, so I wasn't interested in watching that. It was just like there was an episode of SpongeBob I already saw that I didn't want to watch again. It was like all that type of stuff, so I decided to go on Nicktoons and see what it was on. And then came up this episode of Dragon Ball. And the exact episode was when everyone was fighting Nappa. I remember the episode, and I was watching with my dad, too. That was a weirder thing. My dad was in the same room, I was controlling the television for whatever reason, and then there was the Nappa fight. And I just watched it, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then, by looking at the characters, it reminded me of a game I had. And I had a Game Boy game of Legacy of Goku 2. and I was too
Oh
young
my
to-
God, really?
I still have it. I have 2 copies of it, actually. And I played it a bunch as a child, but I had no idea what it was from, and I couldn't even get through the first level of the game because I was just a stupid kid. So anyway, I started just watching the episode, and I was like, huh, this is really good. And then there was a point, I would always wake up at around 7 a.m. because I had to be at school by, I think it was either 8 or 9, but whatever. I had to be at school at a specific time, so I'd wake up, I would wait for my mom to get ready, and while I was doing that, I was eating cereal and watching 2 episodes of a show. And it was always on Nicktoons, and there was 2 episodes of Dragon Ball that would go on back to back. So I was watching it, and I was like, wow, this is really cool! And then,
That's what you sounded like?
that's exactly how I sounded like.
Baby Trey.
Baby Trey just sounded like this! Shit!
Oh my God!
Anyway, my mom, I went to my grandmother's house, and I was like, it was getting close to Christmas time, so my grandma asked me, Trey, what do you want for Christmas? And I was really into this, I was like watching like Dragon Ball videos on YouTube, all that type of stuff. I was like, Grandma, I want Dragon Ball! And then she went on Amazon, and she was smart enough to realize I would just want the show. And I could have done so many things. I could have just been a smart boy and start with Dragon Ball Z Season 1. I could have been a genius and started with just Dragon Ball. But for some reason, I saw the disc cover for Season 4, saw the main character Trunks, and was like, that's the guy from the game I'm playing. I'll get Season 4. And I started Dragon Ball Z, my whole Dragon Ball adventure, from Season 4.
Season 4.
Yeah. Like, I didn't know the story.
You missed everything.
Yeah, I missed everything. So and the best part is, I started off with the Garlic Jr. arc. Because that's how Season 4 starts on the disc. It starts with the fucking Garlic Jr. arc. Which, people that have not watched it don't know what I mean. I'm just
They have no
right now,
idea.
it's garbage. But I watched it, and my young brain was like, oh, this is good. And then I watched from Season 4 to Season 9, and each Christmas and each birthday, I just asked my grandma, hey, can I just keep getting more of these discs? Until I got to Season 9, and then I was like, okay, now time for me to get 1 through 3. And then I got all seasons of Dragon Ball Z. I actually have them right here. I'm not going to pick them all up, because that's going to be very hard. I'll take a picture. I'll
that is
right,
right there?
Yeah, right there. And what basically happened was, then I thought I was done. But then I realized there was a series before it. So then I asked my grandma, hey, Grandma, can I have the seasons of Dragon Ball? She went on her Amazon. She hardly understood the computer at all anyway. But then she gave me all 5 seasons of Dragon Ball. Now, I don't have those here because my friend Noah...
because they're here.
They're here right now. And Noah, if you could take a picture so I can post it right here.
Right there?
Yeah, right there. And that'll be great.
Okay.
I
will.
Yeah, perfect. And then, after that, I got GT, which we don't talk about. We don't talk. I own it, I have it, but we're not going to talk about it. And I just...
Okay. All right, so I was just going to clarify the reason why I have Trey's discs. I'm not taking them. The reason why I have Trey's discs are because I'm getting this one here.
That one.
Into Dragon Ball.
That one.
Right there. So she is... How would you say that Dragon Ball is right now? Hey. You're part of the podcast.
What?
You're part of the podcast. So how would you say you like Dragon Ball?
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I don't even...
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Like this.
Alright, good. Yeah. So...
Okay.
I'll go into more of the technical details of Dragon Ball in a bit, but yeah, basically I got all the stuff. I collected all the DVDs, and I just started collecting games to a point where I was like, I really love Dragon Ball. And I was still late to the party in every way. Like, even after all this happened, when Super started, which if you guys don't know what Super is, it's just another season of it. I was late to that party, all that type of stuff, but it just came to the point where I just fell in love with the show.
Yeah.
It's tied for my second favorite anime of all time, and I love the show.
It's so like it's such a staple in not just anime, but in like cartoons in general,
Literally.
like in shows. It's very monumental, and a lot of people had the same reaction as us. Like they got so attached to the show, and it's just amazing, honestly.
All right, so now we'll go into the technical details of it, because I know not everyone's a big anime watcher in this thing, and they probably hate it.
Right.
But if you are curious, it's a very simple show when you really think about it. It's simply about this main character named Goku, as he strives to become the strongest person ever, and by doing it, he trains constantly and fights super strong opponents. In Dragon Ball, he starts out from a kid to a teenager. In Dragon Ball Z, he becomes an adult. Now, in Dragon Ball, he was just a kid to a teenager fighting the strongest people on Earth. But then as he turns into an adult, he now fights the strongest people in the universe.
It's funny because watching back on Dragon Ball, I never realized so many things. That Goku would not be who he is today, or who he became, if it wasn't for Bulma, and if he wasn't forced to, because Bulma kind of forced him, because she was like, I need that Dragon Ball.
It's a whole thing where it's like, when you really look back on the show, if a specific sequence of events didn't take place, Goku would not be at the place he is now, which the newest show that's out is simply called Dragon Ball Super, which is, so Dragon Ball was him facing the strongest people on Earth. Dragon Ball Z is him facing the strongest people in the universe, and Dragon Ball Super is him fighting the strongest people in the multiverse. Yes. Because apparently
So that's in all universes.
Exactly. And so it just becomes this thing where it's like, people wonder, and it's weird, because it's 100% the biggest staple of anime. But it is so mainstream that there are people that won't
count it as an anime.
Exactly. That they're like, I don't watch anime, but this show is cool and I love it. And it's like, what they don't understand is that is anime to a peak.
Right.
Now, another thing we have to understand, we have to have people understand that Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball in general, in my opinion at least, is not a perfect show.
No, not by any means. It is not a perfect show.
I could count out the flaws. I could spend a whole podcast counting off every single flaw of Dragon Ball Z, of Dragon Ball GT especially, and Super. I could count out so many flaws, but that's not the point of the show. Because even though it has all these flaws, it has you keep coming back. Because the whole thing is, it follows a simple formula, too. Like, as you watch just Dragon Ball, you can see the formula. Where it's like,
you get attached to the characters.
Exactly.
It's insane. It's
a good show,
I love it.
And I believe it's one of the perfect gateway anime. So
it introduced me to all anime that I watch now.
For those people watching, this is a very bad. We all know this quarantine is very bad for us. Some of us in college and who finish school early are about to have a lot of time on our hands, and some of you are not able to work, unfortunately. If you are bored in any way, there is this show called Dragon Ball, and it has a bunch of episodes. I believe the total episodes, if we don't include GT, is around 500-ish. Like, if you combine them all together. I'm pretty sure that number is basically correct. But you have basically 500 episodes of an anime, and if you're not into anime, then just watch the show and don't think it's anime. Like, just watch the show.
That's what a lot of people do.
Exactly. Just watch the show as if it was just another cartoon on Cartoon Network, which it was for a while. Like, they aired it on Cartoon Network for a long time. And that's just if there are just weird things you're going to have to get used to, but that's a whole thing. Just when you look at it, it's just a very good show. And
Dragon Ball is very weird. I'm telling you that right now. Dragon Ball is a very weird show. It has its weird moments. You can ask her, but it's funny. It's
a very funny show,
and
it's a very fun show. Like, I would be surprised if anyone watched the first couple episodes of Dragon Ball, maybe like the first 20, maybe like the first arc of Dragon Ball, and said they didn't have parts that they enjoyed of it. I can understand if you didn't like, I can understand if you still saw flaws in it, and I can understand if you didn't say it was the greatest thing ever, but I'd be surprised if you said you didn't at least enjoy it a bit. Because the
Like,
best part
at least one moment.
Exactly. And the whole thing that I bring that up with is the first arc is not even close to the best arc at all in the show.
I was rewatching it and I was like, oh my god, some of this stuff is like really, really cringy.
Exactly.
Like it's so like, oh my god, I am going to fight you now, blah blah blah. Like I am going to use my wolf fang fist on you and then do it, and it's very, very corny.
Exactly.
It is a very, very corny show, but you learn to love the formula.
Exactly. So, but there's the second arc, which is what I call basically the turtle training arc combined with the World Martial Arts Tournament arc.
That's what we're on right now.
If you can get through, if you can at least somewhat enjoy the first arc, and then watch the complete second arc, and you still don't like it, then yes, this isn't the show for you. But I would be fucking amazed if you didn't like it, because that is just such a good part of the show.
Right.
It's
Or
on the-
you can completely skip Dragon Ball and just go right into Dragon Ball
you
Z.
can-
Because, honestly, they are two completely different shows.
100%. Now, if you do that, and if you do start with Dragon Ball Z, all you have to understand is there are going to be some story elements, like very small story elements, like you're not going to understand who some of these characters are. You're not gonna understand. You're not gonna understand. Who
Goku is,
exactly,
where he came from,
but
why he's here.
You can easily, very easily, just watch the show without knowing any of that. And I know that so easily because that's what me and Noah did. We both completely skipped Dragon Ball. I completely skipped the first 3 seasons.
I watched all of Dragon Ball.
You watched all Dragon Ball? I didn't know that.
I watched all Dragon Ball, and then I went into Dragon Ball Z.
All right, well, now I lied.
No, it's
anyway,
okay.
You can do what I did. I didn't even watch the first 3 seasons of Dragon Ball Z, and I still got into it. So what I'm telling you is, we are in a quarantine right now. Some of us don't have a lot of time to do stuff, and I would just say, if you're just looking for something to just kill time on, this has a lot of episodes that you could literally just binge, watch it. If you don't have a good way to watch it, and you're really good friends with me, I am more than willing to give you some of my DVDs just to watch. They're in fairly good condition, and what I mean
they're in very good condition.
They're in very good condition. You can watch them, all that type of stuff. It is a very good show. All right, now going back from people that don't know a lot about Dragon Ball Z, let's talk about people that do know a bit about Dragon Ball Z. I know there's a couple people. So, very quick, very easy very loaded question, Noah. What is your favorite moment from Dragon Ball? Let's go to Dragon Ball.
From Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball.
Oh, God. Because it's kind of hard because I've watched... it's been like 5-6 years since I watched it. And I watched it all the way through. I didn't rewatch it or anything. So I'm going based off of my memory of...
Let's make it even easier. Let's do fight. Fight from Dragon Ball specifically.
It's probably Goku versus Tien.
Okay, I can really see that.
Like teenage Goku versus Tien.
Oh, like he went through Kami's training, came down, taller now, fight Tien.
Right.
Okay, I can understand that. My favorite was way before that, because I do love that fight. There's a lot of things to love about it, because that was the first fight that really showed how strong Goku became.
Right.
Like, literally, one of my favorite parts from that fight, and one of my favorite parts from all of Dragon Ball itself, was literally halfway through the fight, Tien goes, "Oh, there's no reason to fight. We're about equal in strength, but I'm faster than you." And then Goku just literally takes up all his weighted clothing.
He takes off all of his weighted clothing.
And
it's like
the shit out of him. And that's what I love about it. It was like Goku. As soon as you watch that, you realize Goku's not the same person anymore. And not only
He's not even human anymore.
Exactly.
There's no possible way.
It became to the point where it's like not only has Goku gotten stronger, there is the biggest gap between him and everyone that even posed a fight against him now.
Right.
And yeah, I love that fight. It is a very fun fight to look into. But my favorite fight was Goku versus Jackie Chun in the first martial arts tournament arc.
We're getting there. I think we're one episode away.
I love that fight for a lot of reasons. But, just looking... My favorite thing was I love the tournament arcs. I love that they kind of brought that back in Super. I wish they did more from it in Z. They kind of gave us tournament arcs, but they didn't really live up to hype as they should have.
No, they were definitely my favorite part of Dragon Ball. I got to say that. The World Tournament arcs were my favorite. I was always looking forward to. I was like, yes, the tournament's coming up. Yes.
So the way it works, for once again going to non-Dragon Ball people, there's a thing called the World Martial Arts Tournament where people around the world come to this one specific location and they fight. In like a tournament style, so like a 1v1 fight, and the winner goes on to the next round until like a final world martial arts champion. And that's like the equivalent of like above the heavyweight champion in boxing, like the greatest swimmer. It's like they're like the peak of...
It's all fighting styles.
Exactly. So, in Dragon Ball, there are 3 tournament arcs. In Dragon Ball Z, there's technically 2, but one doesn't really count because it's not the same type of tournament arc, and one they stop the tournament arc halfway through. And in Super, it kind of brings that back, but it still changes it a bit, and I just like the original style better. I mean, Super did a really good job with the tournament arcs.
They did a great job, and especially changing it up. Exactly. They did a great job with that, making it new, making it fresh.
But it's like I'm just so nostalgic for it. So in Dragon Ball, the first tournament arc was one of my favorite arcs because it really showed. I mean, the show was trying to show that it's like, oh, Goku's strong, but there's still people that are strong out in the world. And it was like, this was like the definitive moment where I realized there are people that can pose a threat even to Goku. So Goku in the tournament arc fought, I can't remember names, but he fought a dragon. He fought
that's the next fight on the disc, I think.
He fought like some turban wearing guy. I can't remember his name. I think it was like
That's right.
Nem?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Nam. I think it's Nam.
It was Nam. And he fought that, and that was a really cool fight. But Jackie Chun versus Goku was one of my favorite things to watch. I remember just watching the whole fight, and it was just split up into a bunch of episodes, and I was like, the reason I love the fight the most, it was because of what it meant. And like the character Jackie Chun is actually a character known as Master Roshi, who is Goku's teacher, posed as this different martial artist as a persona. And the whole point is he does this fight because he wants to prove to Goku that he's not the strongest and that he needs to continue to work. Now, of course, as you continue watching the show, you realize that Goku is basically the strongest, but it's like to show him that it's like
there's always more.
Exactly. There's always more for him to go to. And that's what I love about the fight. It's like, and it was the first spoiler warning. It's the first fight Goku lost. Like, in all actuality, it was the first whole fight Goku lost. And that's what I love about it. Because as you look at Dragon Ball a whole way, Goku only had like a handful of losses. Like, don't get me wrong.
Not even.
He had his losses. Like, if I spent, it would probably take me a bit to name every single one of his losses. But he only has like a handful of losses. Not even.
Right.
But the whole thing was, this was his first loss. And to see Goku, literally a character that we've been met for like, what episode are you on? Like 30-ish something?
1 second. We're on episode 22.
Episode 22? Okay. So, this is what you gotta figure out. So, like, you're watching this kid going 23 episodes in, which is longer than most TV shows. Let's get that straight.
Oh, yeah.
And you watch that, and you're like, wow, this kid is amazing. He's a fucking powerhouse. And then you go through this whole fight, which itself is like 10-ish episodes, and you go through it, and then he loses. And that makes you amazed because it's like, wow, there's still so much more to do in this world.
Right. He can learn.
It was just such a good fight because it was just fun in every way imaginable, and that is my favorite part. That is my favorite fight of Dragon Ball. So, now we'll go into the next question. Favorite fight in Dragon Ball Z? Oh my gosh.
What was your question?
Favorite fight in Dragon Ball Z, please.
Oh, sorry. I was taking off my sweatshirt to show my shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So my favorite fight in Dragon Ball Z, 100% Gohan versus Cell.
You see, I can 100% see that. And I completely understand that.
I'm interested to see your...
My opinion on it? Well,
Yeah.
the fight itself, incredible. Like, watching as... That was what I believed was the turning point. And what I mean is, at the time, it was... I feel like the creator of the show, creator of the story, Akira Toriyama, was trying to have Gohan, who is the son of Goku, try to take the reins of the show. And I loved that idea.
Right.
He was this kid that we were watching, and he had this immense power that we all knew about, but he just still fell flat in so many categories.
Mm-hmm.
So watching him become literally, at that point in the show, the strongest character, and defeat the main villain, it was incredible. And I loved it. And just looking at that, I can agree with you that that is one of the best fights. The problem is not just looking at that and looking what happened later. Where
don't say later.
Because,
don't say later,
but that's
please.
what I mean. That's the only reason why I can't say that that's my favorite fight. Because of the whole later part. What basically happens is Gohan takes the
Spoiler
reins
alert.
of the main character, but then they just gave it back to Goku. And I'm fine with that. I love Goku. I love seeing him get stronger. I like seeing him beat the shit out of all the villains. But it's like, I still want Gohan to be the strongest. Because that's what they were trying to give to me. And I loved that. I wanted that. And then they kept giving us stuff. It's like, oh, now Gohan's gonna become this great fighter. Oh, now Gohan has mystical powers. But then they just wasted it. And it was like, then they just brought out characters that are like 100% definitively stronger than Gohan. And I was like, I didn't hate the series for it. I can't do that. But to go back to one of my original things about like flaws of the show, that is a major flaw of the show. Like one of the biggest in my opinion.
Right. It was leading to a point, and once it hit that point, they were like, I don't know what to do. So they made Gohan a superhero that wasn't even
the Great Saiyan Man.
That
It was a very, let's just say, to not go into it that much, I feel like it was a very bad point for Gohan. And I kind of wished they did him better. And I kind of wish they made him the main character. Like, I would be completely fine with bringing Goku back to an extent, but I wanted them to bring back Gohan as the main character. Alright, anyway, but that's the main reason why that's not my favorite fight. And my favorite fight from Z is simply Goku versus Vegeta, #1. I love that fight. Because it's the same reason... Well, basically, it was the same reason that I loved Goku versus Roshi, or Goku versus Jackie Chun. And that's the point. It's like, what happened is, Goku gets a serious loss from a powerful villain, until now realizing that there are only 2 people that are stronger than the guy that just beat him, coming to destroy the Earth. So then Goku trains his ass off for like a whole, year about... And then
A year. No, it was a year.
it was exactly a year. And then he comes back and then beats the shit out of this one Neanderthal called Nappa, fucking named after a vegetable piece of shit. And then he fights Vegeta. And at this point, we had no idea who Vegeta was. And we weren't expecting anything from him. We were just expecting him to be like, oh, he's a cool, strong villain. But then the fight happened. And it's like we're watching Goku. And there was just this hype moment. Because the whole plot was, before Goku came, all the Z fighters who had trained just as long were getting their absolute asses kicked by this bald motherfucker named Nappa. And then Goku comes and beats him with like the snap of a wrist. So we're like, Jesus Christ, Goku made the biggest power-up ever made. There's no way anyone can stand in this way. And then we meet Vegeta, who is personally my favorite character in the entire show. And it was it was this
he's a good character.
Moment where you meet this, where it was like, at the same time, through the entire show, before this point, they couldn't make a rival for Goku. They made so many rivals for Goku. They made Krillin.
They did.
They
made Yamcha. They made Tien.
They made Tien. They made Piccolo. Like the way it worked is
Piccolo.
They started with Yamcha, then they went to Krillin, then they went to Tien, then they went to Piccolo. And they worked in a sense, but it's like they didn't feel 100% right. Because, especially after the tournament saga, when Goku basically defeated Piccolo pretty good, it was like, Piccolo's a strong opponent, but we just know Goku to be like a person. And all this time they were just giving up people that were strong and could get very strong, but they weren't giving us a character that wanted to get as strong that like Goku wanted. And that's where we got Vegeta. Vegeta, a basically polar opposite character to Goku, but they both have the one key difference being, the one key similarity being, they both want to be the strongest person in the universe, and they understand.
They're both Saiyans.
Well, yeah, okay. That's why I said person. That's why I said person. But anyway, they want to be the strongest people in the universe because they will fight anything to prove that not only are they strong, but also to show them how to become stronger. And that whole fight was like they were evenly matched. It took Goku literally going above and beyond for like, I think it was like the first moment Goku ever truly went super above and beyond. Like really broke his limits to the
Kaioken!
He used a move. That was the first time when Goku ever did something that really went above his limits that he truly could handle. And he did it still. Because Vegeta was such a hard fight. And
he still couldn't handle it.
Exactly,
he still couldn't handle
it. He still couldn't handle it. But the whole thing was, as a fight itself, by looking at the fight alone, no, you're correct. It's not the most perfect fight. But then it goes to the polar opposite of the cells of the Gohan versus Cell fight, where it's, you look at the later parts. You see how that fight transformed two people that in themselves were strong become even stronger, and both of them leveling up each other and forcing them to be at a point. And to the show now, technically Goku is stronger in only one way, but at the same time, they're both evenly matched right now. And that's what I love about it, because it's a great rivalry. That is my favorite fight of Dragon Ball Z. Now, I won't talk about Super, because we've already talked about Dragon Ball, we've already talked about Z, and people who don't watch the show not going to understand what Super is.
They don't care. You could probably put a timestamp to people that don't really give a shit about what we're talking about right now, and say, all right, if you want to talk about something else, then yeah.
All right,
but yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about Dragon Ball that we'll do for this podcast is simply, who is your favorite villain? Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. I'll even include GT if there was any villain from GT that you like more than others. But who was
my favorite villain?
Favorite villain.
I gotta say, Frieza. Because I don't want to say he was bad for no reason, but it was just in his bloodline to try and rule the universe, and when people they don't want to go along with it, he takes action, and he does something about it, and he actually becomes a threat. Not like it. I also love his character design. I loved I loved all the voices for Frieza. For some reason I thought Frieza was a girl, but at first, but he wasn't. But I don't know. I just loved how ruthless of a villain he was.
And he was also like the first biggest gap between everyone. Like he was like throughout the whole.
It showed there's more powerful
exactly.
beings out there.
Throughout the whole, from Dragon Ball to that point, even though all the villains were strong in their own way, and even though some of them were even stronger than Goku at some point, they weren't like a huge gap. It was to a point where like Goku, if he really gave his all and went further beyond, he was able to beat them. But Frieza was the first, like, to every character, the immense gap. Where it's like Goku literally had to do something nobody ever thought of, which is go Super Saiyan, just to even at one point stand a chance to him and then be able to beat him. It was just amazing.
And it was also a twist. Like we thought. Can you hear me talking? Okay, so I'm gonna whisper. Okay, so we thought, because we're still watching Dragon Ball, and I don't want this to be spoiled, but Frieza has multiple transformations, and we didn't know that. We thought it was his end, and he was like, "Oh no, I have a transformation," and we're like, "Oh what? Are you serious?" And then he was like, "No, I have another transformation." And, what? Oh, I have another transformation. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then he dies, and then. Like, yeah, good. And he's like, I have another transformation. I was like, are you serious? Like, are you kidding me? Like, it built up to like, oh my god, like, how is he gonna beat this dude?
It was
and then
very fun fight. And it was
exactly.
He was the ultimate villain. And if that was everything I would look at, I would 100% agree with you. And Frieza is, my opinion, the best villain. There is one man in my mind that every Dragon Ball fan out there is gonna look at me and it's like, you're a fucking idiot. He's not that.
Tao Pai Pai.
Yep.
Are you serious?
He, to me, was my favorite villain. And there's one specific reason why. Because he was the first villain that everyone's mind came up to as, can Goku beat him? Like, to that
True.
And that's what I love. Like, it's the same thing with Frieza. He was a great villain in my regard because he had such this huge gap between everyone. Like, he was just so much stronger than everyone. But then going before General Tao was, Goku was fighting people. But at the same time, it was always close matches. And it was always like, if somebody was able to put a fight up against Goku, Goku was still just a little bit stronger than them. And there were like very few people that could do that. General Tao was, in my opinion, the first person that made me think, can Goku actually win this fight? Because literally, I know Brenda can't hear, so I'm not worried about her.
You're good.
Literally, when Tao fought Goku, he beat the shit out of it. Goku barely grazed him.
And he was a kid.
And
he didn't care.
And it was amazing. Like, before this, we see Tao fighting General Blue, and he kills the guy with his fucking tongue. Like, what the fuck, this guy?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Fucking hilarious. But it's like, it's brought up to be like, Tao is this immense fighter. And even while seeing this, it was like, oh yeah, Goku's gonna still pull up like a 1-2 and beat him. But he lost. He lost to his first fight with General Tao. And it was like, Jesus Christ, can Goku win this? And that's what I love about it. Now, of course, he turns into a fucking pussy later on in the show. Like, as you look back at him, he's like, oh, he was strong at the moment, but now he's like fucking weaker than most people. But it was like, at the time,
the first villain.
General Tao, I really didn't think Goku was gonna beat him. Like, it was just down in my mind. It was, of course I knew because the show kept going, and I watched Dragon Ball Z. But it was like, can Goku really beat this guy? Like, he's beating everyone else. Because this
Right.
is just such a big fight. And that's, like, I agree with you. Frieza is the best villain, in my opinion. But Tao is, like...
Is your favorite villain, basically.
Favorite villain, and in my opinion, is even, compared to Frieza, a more important person to the whole story.
The whole story in its entirety.
Literally, because he was the first man. Even though Jackie Chun Master Roshi beat Goku, he was the first person that Goku realized, I'm not going to be able to just beat anyone easily. I'm going to have to give it more. And then he like trained his ass off for 3 days. And I love that fight. I love General Tao as a character. I love what he represented, and he was just a very good fight. And he, in my opinion, is one of my favorite villains. Because of that solely. And I understand if you disagree with me, because this is a really stupid opinion, but that is just what I believe.
I can see where you're coming from. He's a great villain, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the first villain to actually scare Goku.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about him. That's what I love about him. Alright, now we're getting to the point. We won't talk about Dragon Ball anymore, because we know we got anti-weebs out there that's like, no! And I know you probably already skipped through this part anyway, so we'll continue on to a different topic.
Right.
Something we should talk about, which I think some of you guys are wondering. I know some of you like the video, but I think you're still wondering.
Yeah.
Our latest video was called The Ultimate Unis Honest Handshake. Hashtag Hand My Honest.
Hand my honest. Yep.
And you all probably watched that, and I know people came up to me and was like, wow, cool handshake. Cool job for making that up, and we didn't.
We did. That wasn't us making it up.
So to explain the video, it's very simple. There is a YouTuber named Markiplier. Maybe some of you have heard of him. You know, he's kind of...
He's kind of big.
He's kind of big, like, you know, you got... He's kind of like small-time YouTuber, like, you know, maybe you've heard of him, maybe you haven't. But then there's also this other YouTuber named Crank Gameplays who goes by the name Ethan. And they are very
much smaller YouTuber, but...
In November of 2019, they created a channel called Unis Honest. Unis Honest in Latin specifically translates to 1 year. And what the point is, the whole channel just makes... It's a very regular channel, kind of like what we do, where we just do videos that we want to do.
Right.
But the whole thing is, in 1 year, as of November, I can't remember the exact date, but it's of November of 2019. So as soon as like November 2020 comes.
I can look.
But in basicality, as soon as the date that Noah is about to find out, by that date, all the channels they have created will be deleted. The whole channel, the whole videos, everything. Like,
November 15th.
November 15th. So by November 15th, 2020, every single video that they have put so much time and effort into making that me and Noah both really like
and appreciate
is going all away. And some of them are just such cool videos because they really try to just do a lot of cool things. And even with quarantine, they're still giving us such, in my opinion, great content.
Right.
And
it's very like it's a staple in YouTube, I want to say. Like just to show they're putting every single day for a year, they are putting out one video at least 10 minutes long. At least 10 minutes long. And they're putting time, effort, money, like editing hours. It's insane. It's insane. They're putting this immense amount of effort for all just to be wiped out.
And it's so good. Another thing, if you guys are not weebs and don't want to watch Dragon Ball Z, I can understand that. But I believe some of you still have time. If you got time, watch it. It is very funny content. They're two very funny YouTubers. I even call them comedians. They're very good guys. And the content is just hilarious. And it's a whole thing where it's like... It's also a thing to, like, remember in the real world. That it's like, the reason they're doing this is to give, like, a kind of anecdote that it's like, we don't have all the time in the world. Like, they're not trying to say that the world's going to end in 1 year. Though it might.
And we don't know. Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
But it's to say that. Oh god, I had a thought in my head. Like nothing lasts forever. That's basically what it says.
It's a very good channel, and recently, I think it was like a bit over a week ago, they made a video. And another thing that the channel does that I like is they do kind of challenges type of thing, where they go like hashtag dance is honest or whatever, and they're like, try this, put a video out, and we'll put you in a video, and we'll talk about you or something. But recently, they, about over a week ago, they made a video called hashtag the unit's honest handshake, hashtag hand my honest, where they made this whole handshake to combat the quarantine, where it's like a touchless handshake to do.
Right.
It's like only people that watch Unit's honest know how to do. So I watched the video, and Noah watched the video, and I was like, hey, this doesn't look like a bad idea. So we did a video. We spent, I would say we spent a good couple, about like 3 hours, 2 or 3
Yeah,
hours.
3 hours going to different locations.
Filming with our friend Mario, in which the entire time, all three of us were wearing masks, and we kept safe social distance. The only reason we were able to meet up is because we were all essential workers, and we just met up between shifts.
Right.
And it was just a fun thing to do, because I don't see them a lot to just hang out like that. It brought a sense of normality back to me. It just felt right.
As well to me, yeah.
And then it was just good. So, but then we did the 3 hours of film. I did it on my phone, so that's why it's not the super high qualityest. And then I edited it, and I put it out on Saturday, which was approximately I think it was almost exactly 1 week after
they put out the video.
So we're hoping that in the next coming days, they will do a video, and maybe we'll get a little shout out.
Maybe.
But either way, even if we don't get a shout out, I enjoyed making the video.
It was a great video.
And now I know that fucking handshake for the rest of my life, so me and Noah are going to do it every day.
Yeah, we're not going to forget it. I messed up so many times trying to do it, now I know it. So,
like, thank you all for still enjoying the video. I know some of you still watched it without even knowing what it is. Thank you for watching it, because that just means even though we make stuff that you don't 100% know or maybe even enjoy, that you still watch it to support, and I really appreciate that. But hopefully that clarifies why we made that video. It was a very simple thing where it's just we watched a popular YouTuber give us a challenge, and we did it.
right.
Which was a very good thing. So now going into that, we should probably talk about what's going to happen with this channel.
I was thinking the same thing, actually.
So
Definitely thinking the same thing.
So far we've uploaded 3 videos. It was this podcast. It was so anyway. Before this video is uploaded, we've uploaded 3 videos. The first episode of this podcast, the Scriblio video, which is kind of our first gaming video, and then our first kind of like live action recording video. All 3 of them, I believe, got pretty good receptions.
Insane good receptions, actually. Like, I didn't believe it at first. I was like, oh, our first video has 60 views.
I know, and that's amazing. We don't even have 60 subscribers.
No, I know.
Probably most of them are me.
It's okay.
And anyway, but our least viewed video of the 3 was our gaming video. So, to talk about that, people watching this, I know you have so much precious time, but please comment down below what games you want us to play. Because I don't want to just make, like, I know this channel, and I know I said it 1,000 times, that it's like me and Noah want to create content that we want and will enjoy, but we also want your input, because you guys are as much a part of this channel as we are, just as much. So please, comment down below, give us some game suggestions that you want us to play, preferably things we could probably buy on Steam or on computer, because I don't have an Xbox I can use on the fly, and we can't really meet in person to do anything else. So yeah, give us game suggestions, we'll do our best, we really have nothing else to do but to read the comments, give us all you got. So now going to that territory, what are your favorite multiplayer games to play?
Like, of all time, or like a casually like to play?
Let's go with all time first, and then we'll go to casual.
Okay, all time, Halo 1 or Halo 2 on the original Xbox. I have spent many hours playing the campaign. That was the first campaign I've actually completely beaten with my dad. Me and him both beat that game. We spent countless hours on like the hardest difficulty. I think I was probably 6, 7 playing that game with him, and we ended up beating the entire game. Super proud of like me, like especially now, and it's just a big staple in my life. So the first 2 Halos, and then my friends would come over and we play 4-player split screen. Slayer, killing each other, and it was just a blast. It's just a blast.
I completely understand that. I wasn't a big first-person shooter guy growing up, and I'm still really not. I mean, I played my fair share. My first ever one I played was the remastered Halo 1 for the Xbox 360. It was very good. I enjoyed it. I don't think I finished it, but that's just because some things came up. But it's a very good game, and I really understand why people love first-person shooters. My favorite multiplayer game, to quote a classic one. Okay, so as a child, we didn't have like a super amount of games to play, but we had this one. And it was a SpongeBob Mario Party ripoff called SpongeBob SquarePants.
Camera. Oh my God! Yes.
We fucking played the shit out of it. Me, my brother Connor, my brother Cameron, we played the shit out of it. I fucking love that game. I'm pretty sure we still have it. Maybe that could be when quarantine ends.
Maybe.
But that, like looking back, that was just such a fun game. And it wasn't a perfect game, don't get me wrong. It probably not going to give us as much nostalgia as before, but it was just a fucking fun
Actually,
game.
I played it recently at Mario's house because Mario bought it.
Is it just as good? Please tell me it's just as good.
It was good, but like the only thing that sucked was because we didn't have the most perfect controllers for the GameCube.
Yeah.
My one was broken, and then his, I forgot what happened to his. So it was kind of off. We only had 2 controllers as well, so it wasn't as fun as we remembered
That's
it.
a game where I feel like you need to play with at least 3 or 4 people. Like 4 people is perfect. Like 2 is like okay, but it's like yeah. But yeah, I fucking love that game. To think of any other multiplayer games that I played. Mario Party. That's just the staple of what I believe is a really good multiplayer game. Mario Party.
We should get that for the Switch.
Well, I do have Super Mario Party for the Switch, so we can play that.
I do not have that, so I gotta get that.
But what I'm not talking about is Super Mario Party is good, but it's not great. What's really good is like Mario Party 4, which I do have, and I have a Wii, so you can play it like that. But it was just. I played that a lot with my brothers too. And it was a lot of fun. It's a very fun game because it's like you don't have to be a 100% big gamer to be into this. In fact, it was specifically made for people to just play with friends and play with people that aren't super big into games. And it's like
or good at them.
Exactly. It's like it appeals to so many different audiences, and it's such a fun game. When quarantine ends, I 100% want to make a video and play that with you guys. But fortunately, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
No.
Now, a very good
Probably
game that's not quarantine-based, like we don't have to be with each other, that I believe is a video we need to make, but it's going to be a bit hard to make at the current capacity, is Jackbox. Jackbox is what I believe is the perfect like multiplayer game because it's not just one game, it's hundreds of games.
True.
So, if you guys want to watch us play Jackbox, I own it. I'm just trying to figure out how exactly we would film it and do it. Now, there will come a video in some future where it's uploaded. I just have no idea what. But if you want to see that, comment down below. And if I get a lot of if I get like a couple good comments about it, or like if I get like 2 comments about making a Jackbox video, I'll put that at like the top of our list and make. Your light just fucking scared me. Like, stop. Would you stop? I can still see you.
Okay.
It's a serious podcast.
Sorry.
Anyway, if you make a comment about it, I'll put it at the top of my list for the next video to make. So anyway, now we talk about multiplayer games. So let's go to a broader section. What's your favorite game, Noah?
Favorite game?
I know that's such a hard question.
Oh my God, that is a
If
really hard
If we need to
question.
do a Watch Mojo top 5, we can do that.
We could make that another video. But my top favorite game that I probably put the most hours into is Skyrim.
Jesus.
Skyrim.
You're that kind of gamer, aren't you?
It's not that I'm that kind of gamer. It's just
No, I completely understand. It's a very
the world is beautiful, first of all,
huge.
and fun. It's so fun. I don't know. Maybe it's not as good as I remember it, but like playing it for the first time, and I was kind of lonely at this time. I just played that game just nonstop, and it was great.
I can believe that. I remember my brother was the person in our family that was super into Skyrim. He played that game probably 3 times. Like, I don't know if you like 100% completed it each time, but he like made like 3 different characters for each time. Just played it. I watched him play it a lot, and I saw the appeal. But it was another thing that I didn't like what my brother did was he made me like watch him play games. I didn't really get to play them a lot. So that's really what turned me off from Skyrim, which was I never really got to play it. And instead of, spending hundreds of hours even watching a person that I like play it, it was just him playing it. So I wasn't really able to get into it the way that so many people got into it. And by watching my brother play with it, I kind of got turned off to it. I will not lie.
I gotcha.
It is an amazing game, and it has done so much to the community and changed the gaming world forever. But I understand the appeal. I specifically just don't see the appeal.
What is your favorite game, Trey?
My favorite game is probably the polar opposite of Skyrim. My favorite game is a I gotta think about it. I gotta think about the specific word for it. It is an indie game. It was a Kickstarter game that a lot of people probably know if you're really into gaming. So it's simply called Shovel Knight.
I think, yeah, I knew. I know. You told me that before.
Is my favorite game of all time. So I was introduced to Shovel Knight through the YouTubers Game Grumps. At the time, I was just getting into Game Grumps. And they made like 3 separate series of Shovel Knight. And I watched all 3 of them, and I was like, hey, this game looks fun, and I understand it a lot. And then I bought it on my 3DS, I was like, let's give it a try. And then I beat the game once, and I was like, wow, this is really fun, and there's a bunch of achievements. And as soon as I saw the achievements, that's the day I realized I was somewhat of an achievement hunter.
I love achievement hunting. Oh my god.
Achievement hunting, if you're a gamer and have never achievement hunted before, do it. It's so much fun. Because it just feels like, it feels like you have so many goals ahead of you, and as soon as you complete it, you feel so good. So literally, it came to the point where this game had... So, in the game, there's 4 campaigns. When I was playing it, there were only 3. There's Shovel of Hope, Plague of Shadows, Spectre of Torment. And I beat Shovel of Hope twice. I beat the regular game, and then I beat the new game plus of it. And I loved it. And then I saw all the achievements, and I was like, "Let's do it." And then I played. So in the main game, there were 85 achievements. In Plague of Shadows, there were 45 achievements, and in Spectre of Torment, at the time, there were 45 achievements if you didn't get like any special DLC or whatever. And I played all 3 games. And it was like a couple months ago, it was like last summer when I really got into it. And by the end of the summer, I calculated all my time. And I spent a total of 4 days. Like, commuted, added them all together, was 4 days worth on that game. Which some people will look at me and like, well, Trey, there's not a lot of hours. Like, I remember I told my friend Matt, I was like, I spent way more of that playing CSGO. It was like, oh, that's nothing. I spent more time playing Fortnite than that. But then you look at it another way, where it's like, one of the achievements of the game is beating the game in an hour and a half. Really? If you're like pretty good at games, you could probably beat the game in a day. Not even. You could probably beat the game in 3 hours. So for me to spend a full ass 4 days on this one game, it's just I've never spent so much time on a single game, and I love it. I love it so much. And to this point, in Shovel of Hope, out of the 85 achievements, I've gotten every achievement. And in Spectre of Torment and Plague of Shadows, out of the 45 achievements, I have 44. Because I left one achievement left. I haven't done it yet because it's basically to speedrun the campaign in an hour and a half, which I just don't think I'm ready for yet. And I'm waiting probably for the summer to just,
You gotta train. You have to train.
Not only do I have to train game-wise, I have to train myself mentally just to be able to handle that. Hell, if people want to see it, I'll stream it. But anyway, I love that game so much, and especially because I'm not old enough to really be a retro game guy, because that was my era of things. I wasn't a person that played DuckTales. I wasn't a person that played the original Super Mario. I wasn't a person that played Mega Man. I wasn't a person that played...
That was me.
Yeah. I wasn't a person that played all these awesome retro games that people look at and be like, oh, these were the greatest games of all time. I wasn't one of these guys. So for me to play a game that was specifically made to give you the feeling of all these retro games, it felt amazing. And that's what I love about it, because it really felt, not only did it just feel like a retro game, it was like, so this is how people felt when games were first being made, but it's just a good game in general. You can see all the love put into it, and I love the game. It's awesome, it's great, it's fantastic. Now, I understand, I don't want people to yell at me, I understand it's not the greatest game of all time. But to me, it's perfect. And that's all I can say. It is a beautiful game. If you've got nothing to do, and you got a lot of time,
and it's not that expensive.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, you got a lot of time, play Skyrim. Right now, I don't think the prices for Skyrim are really high because it's a fairly old game. If you got an Xbox...
Oh, it's a very old game.
Yeah, if you got an Xbox 360, Xbox One, Nintendo, PlayStation, whatever fucking system. Even
PC.
Literally, if you got any system and have the money, buy Skyrim. If you got a lot of time, it's a very fun game, especially if you like really open world games.
When I get my PC, I am going to be playing Skyrim, but with mods. So
That's a definitive way to play it. My thing is, if you got a lot of time, play Skyrim. But if you're looking for if you got a DS, if you have any platform, and if you're just looking for I just want to turn my mind off for a couple hours, a day, an hour a day, and just do this, get Shovel Knight. I remember I brought it to my friend Kira, and she was like, "This game is impossible to play," but it's give it some time, because I remember when I first played it, I was balls at it, and now I was able to speedrun it at the normal pace. So it's just play the game. If you got nothing else to do, it's a fun experience, especially if you weren't introduced to retro gaming. It's a lot of fun to get that new experience, and if you're a big retro gaming guy, I can guarantee you'll like it. And it's just a fun game, so if you got a lot of time, Skyrim, way to go. If you want to go a lot of lore, if you want good graphics, all that, go to Skyrim, great game. Just a casual game, pick up once in a while and just play. Perfect game. Now, of course, I do have games that I love basically just as much, but that's another video for another day.
Yep. I think we're about wrapping up this podcast, don't you think, Trey?
Yeah, we basically talked about what we needed to talk about this video. So, now to end it off, we'll go to the big thing, which is going into the challenge.
Oh, yeah, the challenge. You got to put a timestamp so that way people know.
In the next 2 weeks after this video is uploaded, I will upload a video of me completing the challenge because I made a promise and you guys have fulfilled that promise. So, but I might need some help because I might want to try to make a video of it. So if you could, I'll make it a part of it where I will spend as much time in the bath as possible, but I want something to keep me, occupied while I'm in that fucking hellhole. So, comment down below some questions you have for, I guess, me specifically.
A Q&A?
Yeah, give me. I'll do a fucking fact video while I'm in the goddamn ice bath challenge. If so, if I don't get a lot of questions, if anyone wants me to take any tests, maybe I can figure out which office character I am. We might find out in the fact video. But anyway, give me suggestions, questions, tests, anything you want me to do in that bath, and I'll tell you this right now. The more you give me, the more time I'm going to spend in the bath. That's a promise.
You gotta do an IQ test at least.
Oh, 100%. Alright, but yeah, expect that in the next 2 weeks, definitely. Maybe not in the next week. I just have to plan it out. But yeah. Be ready.
Remember, 60 subscribers in the next 2 weeks, and I will do a challenge.
That's the
I will probably post it to my other channel as well. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. My other channel is called Noah Carlisle. That's my name. But plug. Right. So it'll probably be up there, but I will also give it to Trey to post on this channel as well.
So another thing I want to talk about is we need the challenge comments. And Noah has a very good group of people. So if you want your challenge comment to go out, comment down below, like it, have all your friends like it, and just, if you want Noah to do your specific challenge, do it.
I do have a lot of these, so I don't know if you want me to do anything with these, but
Blur that out.
yeah.
Trey, blur that out. Trey, blur that out. They can't know we have that. They can't know we have that. That's a video for another day. Anyway, bye.